The book is open.
All right, let's get started. So yesterday we finally had a pullback in the markets and then we chopped around. Now looking at the Asia session, the chop continues with some downward momentum, but let's see where the interest is currently laying. For the pre-markets now, again, keep in mind, once the New York opens, the gamma levels will also be live and they could switch around and change during the day. But so far, it's trying to push down through this level, so let's see what the market will do here. Currently everything is down. And the VIX, I still don't like that the VIX is staying steady at the 15 level. I'm not a fan of that. In the meantime, let's start our routine. So let's start with the macro info. This morning I made a couple of changes to make things a little bit easier for myself. And I also changed the styling a little bit of the tops. This is easier on the eyes, I think. There we go. So currently what I'm looking at is basically the net liquidity. So I have a preset that's named liquidity. And what I'm looking at is where is the money going? And you probably heard of the saying, follow the money. This is basically a nice preset that gives you an indication of where everything is going. So we have the money supply, the bank credits. And I do not like the fact that the loans and the credit debt keeps rising. As we can see, it rises continuously. And meanwhile, the S&P is at all-time highs still. That's usually a recipe for disaster, if you ask me. But for now, let's see if we can actually find a good trade setup in the pre-market. Today I will be hands off the first 10 minutes of the New York Open. I will stream it. And this time I will have a little bit of discipline, because yesterday I ended the stream with a couple of losing trades. And it also showcases, I think, that, hey, I'm also human. And then once I walked away off the screen, came back again, I logged in my trading session, and then I made back the losses, and eventually I ended even in green. But again, this showcases why having rules and discipline is so important. All right, so we have a lot of interest above us, but it's far above us. It's 100 points now. Nothing out of the ordinary, I think, if we have the volume during the New York session. But yeah, just keeping that in mind. It would be interesting to see if the sellers have enough volume during the pre-market hours to slowly make their way down here to this gamma level. That would be very nice to see. But I'm not gonna wait for that. Actually, check some other things before we start the session. How's this looking? I also want to check the FX preset because, yeah, with the Japanese yen crashing and eventually recovering a bit, I think. Well, I know. But it's still interesting to see how everything panned out. No news events here. For anyone trading grains, this is a nice chart to keep track of. So currently slowly going up, still with some volume. And in the meantime, ES has done absolutely nothing, and yeah, that's why I was looking at some other macro panels. In the meantime, there is still time. I think during the New York Open we get to finally see the real action. Let's actually see how NQ is looking. So let's open up the gamma panel and see what the markets will do. Now, just like yesterday, ES does have a big gamma call wall over here, but yesterday the markets were still pulled down, and by the looks of it, if I squeeze in, there is still a lot of interest, and then the next logical level would be around here. Does that make sense? That makes sense. What I'm looking at now is eventually NQ, the Nasdaq, bottoming out and finding support. That would be an interesting watch. I will also watch the XLK, so the tech stocks, to see if what they will be telling me. If the tech stocks are plummeting, then I will probably not look for longs. But if the tech stocks are pumping again, then if I see support here, that could be an interesting long. Would be nice if we can hold here and eventually reclaim this and then see a small push up. That would be a nice long scope, and I'm thinking whether I should take it or not, because this is telling me in the Mag 7 currently no, in the pre-market it's getting pulled down. But it's tempting. Just seeing if the buyers have enough steam here. But I'm not gonna take it. This is invalidating it for me. Even though it could go, it does not match my criteria at the moment, so no. And this also confirms it that I do not want to enter a long. And again, I can easily be wrong, and buyers could suddenly jump in and make this move validated, but for me, this is telling me no. We still have a lot of selling pressure. We are in the negative over here, and this is not yet a place for a trade. By the way, I have been messing around with my audio, so I hope everything works. So I have my music now linked separately, and this my microphone is now going through a speech denoise and a couple of other things that my sound doesn't peak and that you do not hear my fan blowing in the background. So hopefully that works. Yeah, it's slowly grinding up right now, so yeah, for me that's not worth taking a trade on. As some of you might already know, I'm not a big fan of slow grind updates. We've seen a couple of those now in the past, where every Monday we had a slow grind update with almost no pullback, so you're unable to short it because it just slowly grinds into your short, into your stop. Or if you want to long it, you always have the feeling, but it can dump into your stop anytime now, which it often does. So what I have learned from those slow and steady grind updates on these Mondays is if I do not see my setup, I do not enter it. And yesterday I was quite aggressive with my contract sizing. I was trading with 4 minis, but I could also afford it in my account. And even though I can afford to take those trades, I will not just do it blindly. All right, 7 minutes left until the open. Let's see what it gives. See how NQ is doing. NQ is finding its balance here. That's interesting. And I'm also glad to see that the smoothness of the pull stack meter is now also improved. So this morning I worked on a lot of improvements on the backend and on the code, making sure that this the speed behind the pull stack meter is now faster. It was already fast, but for it to translate in visuals, then a couple of nanoseconds get added to it. And I shaved off a couple of nanoseconds, and now this just is buttery smooth. I like it. Same goes with the DOM, the bid and the ask. This is just what I wanted. And this took me quite a while, by the way, to eventually build out. So I think this is a better part of 12 months now that I have been working on the code of the trading DOM and the pull stack meter and everything around it. But you can finally see the results, and I think you can tell that a lot of work has been put into this. And I can finally say with some form of pride, hey, this is now looking good enough for me to trade and to actually use. Same with my footprint and with my gamma levels. My gamma levels, I love to have this view, but I know some would like to have a view like this, or they want to have it simplified and to just see the levels over here with a line chart. And the way that I work is I try to listen to the customer, and if you want something custom developed or you would like to see something different in the Sharpnel terminal, I can probably develop it. But since I am alone, it will take some time. And I know that there's a lot of hype with AI coding these days, and I have to admit AI is very good at doing basic tasks. So for instance, if I have an SQL query that I quickly need to write and I ask AI, hey, write me a SQL query, yeah, it can do that. But if it's going into the nitty gritty of the speed that in the C++ code over here in my trading DOM and the tool stack meter, it's not that great. So I rather do this by hand still. And same with the gamma panel. So I get my data via an official license, and then I convert this with my own math using my own calculations and then showing it visually on the screen on the panel. Okay, 2 minutes left for the open. Now ES, yeah, it's just chopping around. I will switch over here to ES as well and just focus on ES for now. By the way, I will watch the live stream once it's done, because I'm very curious to see if my voice is picking up and not that the music levels are too high. So I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear. And yeah, to be continued. One minute left. There we go. So this was a nice push open candle. Now let's see how it develops. Hello, good afternoon. Currently we are just watching the New York Open. I'm not sure if you're actively trading it, but my rule is that I am hands off for the first 10 minutes and then I will look at the trades. Currently we have a lot of gamma interest down below, but we also have a global, but it's 100 points above us. But again, nothing is out of the question. Nvidia is trying to pull it up, but currently the rest of the Magnificent Seven is saying no. Oh, Google is at least trying. So far the sellers are in control, and let's see if we can go towards the put wall. Doesn't have to mean that we will touch the put wall, but could be interesting. And of course the NQ had a bigger drop than ES. That is quite normal, I think. If the price keeps chopping around at this area and it does not reclaim above the 50, I would have to say that that could be a good short opportunity. Now, again, we are just 4 minutes in, so I'm not touching it. Let's see what happens here. Okay. See, Google is the only one trying and the rest is saying nope. Nvidia isn't going down that hard yet, but that can quickly change. Like so. And keep in mind, this is all in a span of 6 minutes of the open. So we dropped down quite a bit and eventually came back up again. Now for the Nasdaq, it's 100 points down and 120 to 130 points up in 6 minutes, which is kind of insane. Hey, Vandal, how you doing? I hope my voice is coming through. So what I did was I played around with audio hijack, and I have my background music separate, and then my microphone with a lot of speech denoise, so you do not hear the fan blowing in the background. But yeah, I have to rewatch the stream eventually to hear if everything sounds good. But yeah. Let's go back to the terminal. And the pre-market wasn't that interesting. We basically chopped around and we have not moved on ES much, but on the NQ on the other hand, we dropped 100 points and we gained like 130 points, then back up again. No more B sounds indeed, I hope. Fingers crossed. So far I have taken 0 trades and I am watching if buyers can hold the price up here. But what I'm seeing is indications that the Magnificent 7 is dumping. And it's controlled dumping at the moment. Now, the gamma levels are interesting because we have more than 100 points above us on the ES. The call ball and the put ball is closer by, so I would imagine that we gravitate towards the put ball. Doesn't mean that we have to actually touch it and use that as support or break through. But at least we could magnet to this level down here. But let's see if my thesis is correct or not. Yes, yesterday was a important lesson that I have to stick to my rules. Now, eventually, I ended the day green and everything was good, but I had to walk away from the screen, come back again, and yeah, focus, log in, because yeah, that was not good. But I learned a lesson. And you are more long biased. Interesting. I am more short biased just because of this gamma level over here. But these last days the markets has been FOMO long basically. So, but let's see how today will pan out. If it can hold the 50, then the long thesis could actually play out. But currently I am patiently waiting. Let me just move this to the left so I can actually see what's going on. Yeah, that makes sense. There. Okay, not liking this trade anymore. What I wanted was a better entry at first. So I wanted to enter at around 55 and then I have a stop right below the 50s and then risk 5 points to make 5 points. But I wanted a quicker reaction and I'm not liking that the sellers are now fighting back. So when I entered the trade, I saw a lot of bids stack up. This was all in the positive, so I had positive delta as well, and I thought, hey, we could actually push higher now. Now, it can still happen, but I am not comfortable sitting in the trade for longer while looking at the sellers fighting back. But still, I would say a break-even scalp. This is, yeah, a break-even in my opinion. On to the next. That is okay. For now, I think it's a good time to enter stream and that I can focus on the session and actually, yeah, make some bread, so to say. Fumble, let me read what you said. What's crazy is I always ended up looking for support just below the gamma levels and always regret it. So what you're saying is if this breaks down and then you want to see a reclaim of the gamma level and then a continuation up, and then you will join that ride for the continuation up, right? That's what you're saying, I think. Also, yeah, look over here. It goes to my take profit eventually. There we go. Yeah. Okay. But that's fine. I didn't like staying in it, so I chose to exit. All right, for now, I would say thank you for watching, and now I need to focus. I hear what you're saying, Fumble. That is a continuation pattern that you're trying to trade. Yep, that could also be interesting. For now, I will have to focus on my own trading. So thank you again for watching, and see you all tomorrow.